we are live. Hello and welcome to the first Friday Dolphins Dive of 2019, hosted by yours truly, Dolphin. Handelabra believes in civil rights for everyone and in being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity actively working against that goal are not welcome and will not be tolerated. You can follow us at Handelabra Games on Twitter, on Twitch, and Handelabra on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Twitch and Twitter are not interchangeable, turns out. You can follow me personally on Twitch at Dolphin, and on Twitter, it's Dolphin21, and on YouTube, it's Dolphin. Jeez, I have this all sorts of backwards tonight. Handelabra still believes in civil rights for everyone, but that was not the next part. Oh, no, that was not the next part either. What comes after the, you can follow us, Sentinels, the Multiverse, and One Deck Dungeon are both available on Steam, iOS, and Android devices, as well as, I don't know why I can't remember this. I got all sorts of flustered, and now I'm panicking super hardcore. There is a script. I have memorized the script, except for tonight, because I'm fumbling all over the words. Steam, iOS, Android devices, as well as analog, cardboard, ink, and dice. And you can get the games and more info at Handelabra.com. Good old analog card game. Oh, did I say analog card game? Analog, cardboard, and ink, and dice. Woo, boy! Jeez Louise, that was the worst intro of all time. And I will add that to the intro reel that Dolphins Dive will eventually have someday, patent pending. This gonna be good. But yes, welcome to Dolphins Dive, where we usually start off with a game of One Deck Dungeon and follow that up with a Sentinels the Multiverse game that is usually viewer's choice. And the same will be true as of today, but next week there will be something special. If you have not caught the announcement, and actually I should pull up the announcement myself so I can give you the information directly. Now the question is, where is this information? I know I was emailed it at one point in my life, but we do have some special streams in the next couple weeks. Not just on my channel, but on my stream, but also on the other streamers, where we are previewing Oblivion content. And normally when there's previews, it usually goes to, at the time, Sentinels Live, but now Handelabra Live. But to try to spread the wealth, we are doing this with all of the streamers. Just search for Handelabra on my email. That would probably help. It's a new year, does not help. Also, this does not do it. Where is this? Oblivion. Nope. Did it not go to this email? Oh yeah, it probably went to my other email. Now I know. This is what happens when you have 20,000 email addresses. You don't know what emails are in what inbox. Boy. Welcome to Dolphins Dive, where we fumble through the intro and then we spend the first 10 minutes trying to find an email just so I can give accurate information as to the Oblivion preview schedule. There we go. All right, so it is a new year, which means it is time for new content. Our work on Oblivion is ongoing, and we're excited to show you what we've been working on. On recent Handelabra live streams, previews of environments like Nexus of the Void and Champion Studios have been previewed. But starting this week, we'll also be adding the new Villains Turned Hero into the rotation. So this past Tuesday, Handelabra Live / John Solo previewed Lifeline, which was previously seen on the Thanksgiving Leftover stream between me and another Letdown. But John gave his own preview. Yesterday, if you missed it, Jen had a dev stream where she showed how she processes character artwork like La Commodora from Adam and getting it into the game. Today, there is no special preview. I apologize. And Tales from the Archive is also not having that special preview. And as far as I know, there is a Tales from the Archive this weekend. Monday, on deck, Pirate Savvy fittingly shows off La Commodora. And then next Tuesday, John and Jeremy preview an environment, which is either the Meridian. Wow, I've never actually pronounced the word Meridian. I guess is the word Meridian Refuge, or Fort Adamant, and it is up to the chat vote, which means that there will be a vote on the Twitch page, and that vote will last for 2 weeks afterwards, and no one ever clears it away. And then next Friday, 1 week from today, Dolphin takes a dolphin's dive into how to play Akash 3. So we're gonna have some fun Akash 3 games. Do you remember the line? I remember what line? It was FPO lists. Oh, are we talking about the FPOs? Oh, and John's stream is FPO. Or was not FPO. I'm sure there was the actual artwork there. Anyway, Dolphin shows off Akash 3. So next week, I'm not going to do one deck dungeon. I'm going to devote the whole 2+ hours to Sentinels of the Multiverse, like streams of yore, and we'll show Akash 3 in all of the games. And then next Saturday at January 26th, 7 p.m., another letdown takes a trip to the glorious country of Mordengrad. Monday, January 28th at 7 p.m., Pirate Savvy lets her first mate Dover try out the Harpy on deck. Oh my gosh. And then the Tuesday afterwards, John previews the final Oblivion environment on Handelabra Live. So that is the special stream schedule for the next several weeks. I'm going to leave this email up because I'll certainly have to reference it at some point later on. But we will have some fun streams in the next week. And, well, my stream in the next week and in the next 2 weeks overall. Lots of Oblivion previews. But we're not here to watch Oblivion. Why would we want to see Oblivion? We're here to watch the gauntlet here that we started 2 or so weeks ago. I forgot exactly when. But we started off with the Rogue in the Dragon's Cave. And then the Rogue in the Dragon's Cave. And then we realized Rogue was a terrible hero to take into the Dragon's Cave. So we brought the Warrior, and the Warrior was victorious. Then the Hunter ended up being victorious over Hydra. And then last week, Paladin made an attempt in Yeti's Cavern and perished. And then we made a second attempt and defeated the Yeti. And now we are down to our last 2 dungeons? These are dungeons, right? Yeah, we're down to Lich's Tomb and Minotaur's Maze. Do I have any info on the remaining challenge modes? I do not. That is up to Christopher to add them. And as far as I know, there have not been any message of that sort on any forum, so I do not know anything. Alright, so Christopher's the block there, not Handelabra. No, the block is an environment in Sentinels of the Multiverse, featuring many agents and inmates. Alright, so we're going to go into either Lich's Tomb or Minotaur's Maze, and I'm going to leave this up to you guys as to what you want to do. So please place your votes in chat now. I normally type who wants to participate in viewer's choice, but this time I'm going to have it be a surprise. Whoever types in the chat and says what environment / dungeon to go into. We have Lich's Tomb, which is very magically themed on the front side. And the boss itself is sort of evenly spread across all 3 skills. Not skills, colors. I don't really know. Strength, agility, magic. But the caveat with the boss, the first time each boss with a skull icon is covered during a round, discard the die. So even though these are 3s, you have to cover it once, the die gets discarded, and then you can cover it properly. Plus, you have to actually cover these things to survive the fight, most likely. And the special rules, after the second floor, any 2s rolled are immediately discarded, and the third, if it encounters consequences include 1 heart, add another heart to them. So we have 1 vote for Lich's Tomb, and someone voted Fnatic, but that's not what the vote was for. It was for the dungeon, but we'll see. Minotaur's Maze. So the Minotaur has some strength, armor on the front, agility things as well, and Minotaur proper, a very strength-focused boss. Some magic and some agility are nice to have to cover these squares, but the strength is super important, especially to cover this wide box where it's X, and X equals 4 times the number of damage on the Minotaur with a minimum of 12. So in the first round, it'll be 12, and then if you do a perfect round and you do 5 damage to him, then this box becomes 20. And if for some reason you get 9 damage on him, then this box turns into 36. So you have to put 36 into that one, which is probably very difficult to pull off considering these other squares probably can and should be covered. The 4 hearts and the 1 skull are the penalty, or rather the 4 hearts and lack of the skull is the penalty for not covering that square. All the other squares also have hearts on them, but, you know, 4 hearts is a lot, even if you have lots of health. Alright, so Hank Ride says Tomb Lich. Okay, Lich's Tomb. And then Janagro says the Maze. Seamus said Lich's Tomb. So we're going to go with Lich's Tomb. It's 2 versus 1. So mana on the front, and then sort of equal spread, but mana a little more important due to the higher heart damage there. If we're just looking at the numbers, strength, of course. So mana is important, and then maybe a little bit of strength. And I know at least one hero who's very good at mana, and her name is Caliana. 5 mana dice plus her Faerie Fire, where you put in X mana and you gain an X strength and an X agility. But Caliana's caveat is the first 3 times, I'm getting called by a random number, the first 3 times a heart would be placed on Caliana each turn or boss round. Spend time instead. If Caliana would take damage, the game ends. So she does not actually have HP. You can give her HP, but it doesn't actually matter. Whimsicality overrides the whole HP idea. And so the first 3 times she would take damage, you spend time instead. So against Lich, that means that if I don't ever cover this 15, the game is over, regardless of anything else. Because she'll take 5 damage, the first 3 get canceled, and then the 2 afterwards she would then leave. But yeah, Caliana has a lot of strength. Not strength, but a lot of power in my experience. Like, I'm going to back out for a second to show you my statistics here, because Caliana is my only hero. No, never mind. I have more than one hero. Caliana is my undefeated hero. I've played her 7 times. I won 7 times. Alchemist is the other hero I've played where I always won. And then the hero I've done the worst with is the Archer, I guess, 2 to 9. But Caliana is pretty powerful because when you're at the end of the floor and you're trying to let's pull up Caliana. When you're at the end of the floor and you're trying to, like, decide whether you should stay on the floor or descend, it's usually like a, you know, you will take 1 heart of damage. Is it worth opening the door? But with Caliana, she doesn't take the heart of damage. You just spend a time instead, but that goes back on the door. Sometimes that leads to a 2nd heart of damage, so she ends up canceling 2 hearts, but it still sort of works out that she can mitigate the end of floor endurance. I don't know what the word is, but yeah, she can spend time instead of taking the damage, and so you can last longer on a floor. Now, if she takes a lot of damage, obviously it stinks, but she has a lot of mana dice. Her Faerie Fire can give you very strong strength and agility die. So we might just play with Caliana. I don't think we've played her on stream before. Unfortunately, the healing talent is not really good with her. Because start each game with an extra potion. I mean, as long as we have potions that do something, that's great. When you use a potion, heal 1 damage, doesn't do anything. When you descend, heal 1 damage, isn't going to do anything. So, in my normal progression, I don't have her on healing at all. I think I've thrown her into aggression to get the heroic die roll, because that's pretty powerful. But she will still get will still get a basic skill. 1 extra health doesn't do anything either, by the way. So all we're really getting out of this is a basic skill and an extra potion. Unless I choose to play Fearless, in which case I get no potion tokens, but we're not going to do that. We're going to stick with Veteran. So the basic skill, Force Bolt is a weaker Faerie Fire because you only get the strength or the agility, not both. But certainly that is a great mana skill. Ingenuity is a peril skill. Increase 1 of your dice by 1. I kind of like that in order to help deal with the need for higher numbers on peril encounters. Like once we get to floor 2, I need to get a 6 to cover this square. Otherwise, 1 time is spent, and then the heart would be put on Caliana, but then another time is spent. So without the ability to cover the 6, At least 2 time will be spent in each peril. The potion puts the motion in the token. Alright, and then the other ones. Inventiveness is a passive skill. If choosing a peril option would cost more than 1 time, reduce it to 1 time. So you could take the cheaper option at less cost. Piercing Blast for 3 mana, reduce the difficulty of each armor box by 1. There isn't an armor on the flip side, so it's only really generally useful for... and then Piercing Blast that works only in the combat, so not in the peril fights. And so I could use it, like, it will certainly reduce this 2 into a 1 and this 3 into a 2, but I could have just put the 3 die onto the 3 directly, and the 2 is easy to cover. It could reduce the other armor boxes in the fight, but there generally aren't that many. So, and then the other skills are either agility or strength focused. So, I guess it's going to be between Force Bolt or Ingenuity. But Force Bolt could be used against the boss, whereas Ingenuity is only a temporary measure. So let's go with Force Bolt. And then the last thing to consider is the potion. Healing is not going to do anything, so we're going to get rid of that. Increase 2 dice by 1 each. Before you roll to resist poison, well, that's not going to happen unless I choose to use the hybrid deck, which is a possibility. I mean, Caliana could tank a poison roll, so I don't really need antidote, but before I consider that. Fortune, choose a value, reroll all your dice of that value. I hate rerolls. Discard the encounter card, ignore all consequences. Almost always I just want to go with aid, because increasing 2 dice by 1 each is usually great. Alright, so then the next question, standard versus hybrid. I don't remember if I did hybrid last week or not, but let's try hybrid just to do hybrid things. So what that means, yeah, I think we did do it last week because I remember talking about the poison rolls, but we'll still do it anyway. So poison is a mechanic in this, and if she gets a poison token, and then she does the poison roll when she explores, if she succeeds, the poison token is not removed because of the hybrid deck. If she fails the poison roll, she takes 2 damage, but because it's Caliana, the 2 damage would convert to 1 time. Or 2 time rather. So she wouldn't take the damage, so she's okay with poison to an extent unless something happens. So we'll just do that, I think. So Lich's Tomb with Caliana, hybrid deck, cure, aid, force bolt, healing, blah blah blah. Let's start game. Alright. And for those of you who just tuned in, I only have the healing tree in this gauntlet, and so I know first aid and recovery are useless for Caliana, but I don't have any other choice. Can't even unequip it. Alright, the first door has the Goblin. X equals 4 per open door, including this one. And so there's lots of strength here. The only mana is the one from Lich's Tomb. So we do have 1 strength and 1 agility innately. Faerie Fire will give us a solid strength and agility if we put good mana into it. Force Bolt will give us one or the other. So despite how there's a lot of strength and mana on this board, we might be able to deal with this encounter unless I roll like literally all 1s, in which case the game almost ends immediately. Let's see. I rolled some 1s. I got a 4, so I can put that in the shield. This agility's not doing anything. I gotta cover the armor with something. And now the rest of the mana are not doing anything. So now the question is, how do I want to utilize Faerie Fire? And then afterwards, how do I want to utilize Force Bolt? Well, if I put 5 into Faerie Fire, that will give me a 5 for the strength. And it will give me a 5 I can use to cover one of the agilities. So that's certainly what I want to do. And now, she's not taking any damage. Time is only spent whenever she takes damage. So really at this point the question is, how do we reduce the amount of time spent? And so the maximum way would be to cover the 5, that saves 2 time. If there is a way to cover both the 4 and the 3, well, that would do the equal amount. So I guess it's really 5, and then hopefully something else, but I really can't, so we'll just get the strength die. And now this useless agility 1 is not going to do me anything. Aid would not help because I'd use it twice, and then I'd have a 3, which can't go into the agility square, so I will end there. And now it's 3 damage each round, or each turn, I guess. I don't know why I said round, but each turn. So after this round, after this turn finishes, then it resets. And so let's see, we have a strength die, or 3 mana to roll a heroic die. But we do have 2 very powerful mana abilities. So our mana is going to be stretched a bit. So I think I'm just going to take the strength die to start trying to accumulate other sources of dice. And then this door, this looks like it was a Forest of Shadows door. Thorn Spitter. So Precise Blow is a sort of nice skill. Put in 1 strength die, gain a 5 strength and 2 agility. The 2 agility doesn't really do too much, but the 5 strength is nice. It will mitigate bad strength rolls. Or we get the agility die, but we're at our item limit, or we get 3 experience. The small problem, though, is that this is either a strength encounter or a agility encounter, and we're weak on both. And really, I have no hope of covering either 9 or 12, because I have to cover the 4 for surezies, and none of these skills will help. So I'm going to flee this for now, because I don't want to take... Like, this is going to be... Like, if I evade thorns, I guess that will be... Yeah, that will be the best. So I'll spend 3 time and gain 2 poison tokens. But I'll spend 2 time and come back to this later, so I'll just flee for now. And we'll come back when I get more agility dice. If I get more agility dice. And then the Fire Elemental. Before the encounter, 1 hero loses a heart, which means 1 time is spent. The skill is Mana Fountain, and you gain a mana 6. It must be spent as mana on a mana skill, which, hello, Fairy Fire loves that. And so there's lots of mana here, so I think we're going to go and do this one. Just as long as I do not take too much damage. And roll some good numbers. And we got we rolled 6s with everything that wasn't mana. That's funny. Unfortunately, my mana itself is pretty poor. I have to cover the 2, so unfortunately I have to waste that 4. But I can cover the strength, I can cover the agility, I cannot cover that agility, but that's not really my concern right now. Unfortunately, I cannot cover this 11 no matter what I do, because my mana was that bad. I mean, I could use aid twice. So that would be a means of covering that. But I absolutely have to cover one of these heart squares because I've already taken 1 damage. So I can't cover the 11 unless I aid twice. Presumably I can't cover the 6, but there's actually a cheat to cover the 6, and it's called Use Fairy Fire to gain 2 6s. Conveniently, I can use the agility to cover the agility square to save a time, but then I can turn the 2 strength 6s into a heroic that I cover the mana 6 with. So now no damage is on Kaliana. I only lose 4 time, and so I think we'll do that. Barely survive, but now I have Mana Fountain. So now Fairy Fire is going to work every combat encounter to give me a strength 6 and agility 6, which is powerful. Oh boy, the Wraith. I know this one's name. Before the encounter, convert 1 item to experience. And then if I... So this... I know this... Oh no, never mind. It has 2 experience. I thought this had 3 experience, and then I could take the experience here and get a heroic die, but that's not true. Well, I do have a strength item here that will be converted. Wraith gives a strength item, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. The skill is haste, 3 mana to roll 2 agility dice. I don't really like skills like this, but I mean, this will give me 2 agility dice versus 1 strength die. So it's worth thinking about. Obviously lots of strength here, but I think we're fine. I mean, obviously we have Faerie Fires and Mana Fountain. We're not worried about anything. Good mana rolls, bad non-mana rolls, but Mana Fountain gives me a 6, Faerie Fire gives me 2 6s. So the strength is covered, and I can cover the shield icons. And now everything left, how can we utilize that? We can cover the mana 6. And then what do I want to do at this point? This strength 2 isn't going to do anything unless I aid it. I can get a strength 5 through Force Bolt. In fact, I really should do that because there's no other use for Force Bolt right now. And if I convert these, then I get a heroic 4. So aid would be enough to convert or increase these 2 by 1, and it will save me 4 time. But I only have 2 potions, and time's not too big of a deal with Caliana, because when we get to the end of the floor, we're gonna stay there for a while anyway. So I think, actually no, it's not gonna save 2 time because I can already cover that, so we'll save 2 times. So it's not really worth using aid to save 2 time. So we're done with this fight. So I think I will take haste for now, because I mean I don't really need the strength die as much, I guess, so we'll take haste, just do something different. And now I really can't do Thorn Spitter because I lost my strength items, so we're gonna explore some more. And alright, so we have 2 forest doors and a base door. And this door, oh hello, it's the Wisp. Piercing is a fun potion, but not as useful, I think. So what Piercing does says ignore all shield icons, or all armor icons in this encounter. And I love it against the bosses that have an armor box. There's like one boss that has like a big like 20 strength box or something, 20 armor box, and no other like consequence in that box. So I'll use Piercing, and then I don't have to worry about putting dice in that one at all, and it makes it a lot easier. But I don't need it as much. I mean, I can't even use it on the peril encounter, so it's only for the combat ones. And even though we do have this 2 and this 3, they're low numbers, so I'm not really too worried about that. The item is a mana die, so we could just make Caliana even more of a mage, or we could get 2 experience, but I think we'll take the item. And yeah, there are a lot of singletons here, but the strength is covered by Faerie Fire. One of the agilities is covered by Faerie Fire. Hopefully the agility die will roll at least a 3 and we can cover one of the other ones. And then we have 5 mana dice. We can cover the 2 and then 4 of the other ones. So we should be fine. Should be. Should be fine. And there's a lot of ones. Well then. Alright, Mana Fountain, and then Faerie Fire, and then cover the strength. Oh, cover the... Ooh. I think we're gonna have to use aid because this agility is atrocious, or this mana roll is atrocious. But for now, let's cover that. Cover the strength. Cover some of the agilities. So currently there's no damage to Caliana, but there is 4 poison. Which, I mean, poison isn't as big of a deal with Caliana, but still I want to avoid poison because that will later be a poison roll, and since it's a hybrid deck, that poison will stay there until we cure it. Now, we could aid and actually cure poison, since we're not going to have damage anyway. So, I guess, like, I could keep poison just so when I later use aid, I could have something to heal. But ideally, I avoid poison as much as possible. I could prevent 2 of the poisons straight up with that. The question is whether I use aid now to get 2 2s, which, while at first glance would cover those, on second glance I could put on that armor 2, and then I can cover one of these 3s. At which point I could then cover all the poisons, in which case I don't have to aid them away. So I think I'm going to do that then. Because I want to avoid poison, because poison will just eat away at your soul. Alright, so now I have a replacement for the shield 2, and boxes, and then things. So now I'm spending 6 time! But there's not anything else I could do at this point. Other than aid again, but that doesn't do anything. Other than cover and save 1 time. So we'll end the encounter there. Alright. So, let's take the mana die, I guess. Let's keep an eye on our time, because if we start getting low, where the next encounter will... So I could do this door, and I could do that door, and assuming I spend no time, I'll be down to 2. But if I do spend a lot of time in one of these doors, I might want to choose to explore just to get an extra door out. So let's see. Hello, friend. You cannot place heroic die on dungeon challenge boxes, which means these 2. I don't think that's going to be an issue. Alright, so Caliana's at the item limit, Caliana's at the skill limit. Adept 2 mana to roll a strength or a strength and an agility and discard 1 of them. So let's do this. That happens. Mana potion, fairy fire. Alright, so cover the armor, cover the armor, cover the armor. Now, those aren't really good dice to put on the armors, but I have Force Bolt. Alright, well, this agility die is not going to do anything. This strength die is not going to do anything. So obviously if I can put that 6 over there, that's better. So if I can get a 3 in some other fashion, that would be ideal. Haste, but I'd have to spend a 5 to do that. But it is likely for that to roll at least 2 7s, or to roll at least a 7. I mean, it's at least 50% likely, I think. Actually, if I roll a 4, then the 6 transfers over, and then I don't really care at that point what's there. On the other hand, I could also Force Bolt. Well, I guess we can't get a 4 through Force Bolt, and then I'd have to do something else. So let's do Haste. We roll 2 4s, which is great, because then I could do that. I have to, well, first I have to remove the 6. And then put the 4 there, and then I can cover this. And that's covered. So a 6 is enough for this. But again, if I have a 3, I can take that 6 out. That got small for some reason. I don't want that in there. So like those squares are covered. I can get a 5 from Force Bolt to cover the other square. And then I can get a heroic 5, which cannot cover this square, but it can cover the card box. And now everything's covered. How only works on the dungeon stuff. Yeah, so yeah, as you can see, I can put the 5 there. All right, so we're done. Haste versus Adept, Strength versus Mana, or just 2 Agility. And Haste is 3 experience, which isn't... It's not too bad to put a 3 here, because if there's overflow and I can save 1 card, it actually will help me on my way towards level 2 or level 3. But the same will be true if I put a 2 there. I think I don't want the extra mana die. I want the strength, because actually I still need to think about Thorn Spitter at some point. I'm gonna explore now, because if I open this door now and I don't spend any time, there will still only be 2 cards left. So I'm gonna put the 2 cards down now. They're both Forest of Shadows. Alright, so let's stay on the floor, and then let's go into one of these doors. We get the Spikalon. Add poison to the consequences for each 5 die on this card. Obviously scary. The good news is that these 5s can be covered with the 6s from Faerie Fire. But then obviously there's a bunch of other numbers that I have to somehow cover. This gives me a mana die or finesse. Spend an agility, roll a strength die, gain a agility 4. That will probably replace haste, I think. Looks like a peyote-induced nightmare. I don't even know. Peyote? I've never even heard of that word before, so I have no idea what that is. Quick, summon a thunderstorm! Enter. We're going to level up soon, then we're going to have a heroic die, and then we're going to have a lot more freedom. Bad mana roll. Fairy Fountain, or Mana Fountain, Faerie Fire. And then I can put the 2 there. That's the only good thing is I got a 2. I have a 4. I have a 3. I could do a haste roll. I don't know that that will be useful. But I can Force Bolt to get the 3. I mean, I don't really need to worry about the consequences too much because we're not going to spend enough time to kill Caliana, but certainly covering as much as we can. So Force Bolt cover the 3 because that gives me a poison if I don't cover it. And then let's try a haste roll because we're out of options. And we get a 3 and a 1. That's not too exciting. I think we're done. Yeah, end encounter. Cacti should not have faces. That's some Game of Thrones nonsense. Alright, we have an we have a heroic die, so that will help against Thorn Spitter. And yeah, you notice that there is sort of interchange between the door and the health. We took 1 heart of damage, so she spent 1 time, but that goes on the door, so... Alright. So yeah, Thorn Spitter. Right now we have 2 strength dice plus the heroic die, so that's 3 dice. We have to cover the 4 armor plus the 9 to minimize the consequences. So theoretically possible requires me to essentially roll at least 2 4s and a 5 or something, or a 3, a 6, and a 4. So let's skip that for the moment. Still have some other options, other doors. The Moss Golem. Add 2 time to the consequences for each heroic die on this card. So 2 time means Caliana takes a heart of damage. The skill, Awareness, reduce the difficulty of each challenge box by 1. This is a peril skill, but peril encounters can be scary. Or we get a sword and a heart, which is pointless, or we get 4 experience. I'm inclined to go for it. Hopefully we can use finesse, because that will give us an extra strength die and the agility to cover the 4. Faerie Fire covers a 6 and helps us towards the armor. We have 2 strength dice that will help with that. So let's try it. So obviously we want to avoid putting heroic die on Moss Golem. Unfortunately, we rolled a heroic 6, so that's upsetting, but that can at least go towards the strength 5. Mana Fountain and Faerie Fire to do the 6 things. Oh, and then I gotta cover the armor. That, and that, and that, and that. So everything's covered except the agility 5, but we can get that by Force Bolt. And now there's no heroic die on this card. Is Golemize a word? It is now. Alright, awareness will help me directly with Thorn Spitter. So stay on the floor. 2 time passes. Caliana takes a heart of damage, gets prevented, turns into 1 heart on the door. Let's enter the last closed door of the floor. Hey, that rhymed. Skeleton. If any boxes are empty, spend 2 time, i.e. Put a heart on Caliana. We get an agility die or invisibility. Spend 2 time before an encounter. Skip to the claim loot phase. Useful when you're weak. Caliana is strong. I mean, she doesn't have any other use for potion tokens, really, but I'm more inclined to get the agility dice. Agility die. The skeletons could be improved if they shrieked like the skeletons in Daggerfall. Just, you know, let's have some extra sound effects in this game. Okay, so Finesse will improve that 3, but these 2 strength ones are not doing anything, ever. They can't cover any square here, and I have no other use for the strength. So I'm going to turn those into a heroic, and then I'm going to insert it into Finesse. And that rolls a strength, which is better, and it gives me the agility 4. Neither agility, though, is doing anything, but the only agility square gets covered by Faerie Fire. So I don't really care. I have to cover the shields, so shield, 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 and now all the mana's done. Agility, and now all the agility's done. The 6, 5s currently can't be covered. The 3 can be covered. So I cannot cover both 5s, but I don't need to. Force Bolt will cover one of them. I could aid to stop the other, but I don't need to. Do I? I'm gonna. Okay, let's math for a second, all right? Because the Undying is adding 2 times, so I'm spending 4 time, which means that there's gonna be 5 hearts on this door. 3 of them get removed. So there's 2 hearts on the door. Caliana takes a heart of damage, but it gets prevented and time is spent. Now there's 3 hearts on the door. 3 of them get removed. Caliana takes a heart of damage. That's the 3rd and final time. Spend 1 time. There's 1 heart left on the door. So it's actually going to not do anything. Let's science this like Marky Mark. See, like it's just a back and forth between time and damage, but we survived. And now we have a balance between strength and agility. So now with awareness, I can do Thorn Spitter, I think, because this will be an armor 3, and strike down will make that a strength 8. And I have 2 strength die and 1 agility die, so that's much simpler. So we're gonna try it. Evade Thorns is would still be difficult. So I guess the question is there a chance of me doing an outright terrible roll and then the fight ending right now? So if I strike down, 1 time is spent. If I outright fail the encounter, 4 time gets spent, which means there's 6 tokens on the door. 3 get removed. Kaliana takes a heart of damage. Then there's 4 on the door, 3 get removed. Kaliana takes a heart of damage, and then there's 2 on the door. And so she will survive, even counting to the 1 that's prevented there. So strike down is safe, and we're more likely to pull that off. Wait, or no, I counted that, didn't I? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I counted that. Okay. My embarrassing habit of not recognizing faces has ruined my joke. Alright, we barely did it. So I finally did the Thorn Spitter! Woo! We have damage! Grand Warlord Thorn Spitter! And this gives me Precise Blow, which we're at my skill limits. I would rather keep my skills. I'll take the Agility die. Alright, and that is how you deal with the end of floor business with Kaliana. We managed to go like 3 or 4 extra rounds by virtue of Kaliana not taking damage. So now, Weakness Curse. Any 2s rolled are immediately discarded. So of course, my first encounter, I'm going to roll all 2s. Vine Trap. Dodge vines 1 time, agility 7, breakthrough 10 strength. The item is an agility die, but we're at my item limit. The potion, roll 2 heroic dice and then discard 1 of them. Only useful on peril encounters. Taking it gives me a potion token and can help out in other ones, but... So, dodge vines would be the answer, but obviously we have to be worried because... I mean, any 2s rolled get discarded. But let's try this, because at worst, I take a poison and we spend 6 time. 7 time, including the dodge vines. So let's see. This can't be bad, can it? See, I didn't roll any 2s. And then with awareness, what happens? I can cover that 3, I can cover the 5, and then I can cover the 6. So all's good in the world. Any X's rolled or any X's rolled it. are you gonna roll it sometimes? Any 6 rolled or any 2s rolled. Any 2s rolled getting discarded means, yeah, if your dice are sticky on one side, it can be bad. I don't really like taking potions because I feel like it's a waste of time when I could be building towards level 4 or more items and skills. So I'm going to take the 3 experience, which I can do by taking the agility die, or the agility item, and then converting the 3 experience one, which gives me the same dice layout, but now I have 3 experience. Having a loose verbal wire day. Yeah, I think it's just off. This was my first week of teaching, and so my schedule this semester is a little weird in that, like, at one campus I'm teaching exclusively in the morning, and on the other campus I'm teaching exclusively in the evening. So my days are technically long, but I have a big break in the middle. But my morning classes meet Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. 2 50-minute segments, so 9:10 to 10 a.m. and 10:15 to 11:05 are the 2 classes, and they're back to back, but they're like the same class, just different people in both. Then my evening classes, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday meet from 6 to 8:30 p.m. and Wednesday meets 7 to 9:30 p.m. So, like, my Wednesday technically starts at 9:10 and ends at 9:30, so it's a 12-hour, 20-minute day, but, you know, I have a break from 11:05 until 7, so it's like, that's 8 hours. That's a lot of time. Some of that's commuting from one to the other, but... Eh. Anyway, it's been like a first week of class. Obviously, I've been doing a lot of talking. I guess it's been a while. Like, my break's been 4.5 weeks long, so I guess it's been a while since I've been talking all week, and so it's no surprise I'm stumbling over words. Alright, Armor Crush. Spend 1 strength die, gain a heroic 6. You can only use it to cover a box with armor. We don't really have that many strength dice, and we don't need it for the boss, which is my main consideration. The item is mana. We don't really need mana, so primarily this is a 3 experience fight, and obviously there's a lot of armors, which are generally okay, except any 2s get discarded, so really I have to roll at least 4 3s with mana dice. And then afterwards, there's a lot of strength that has to get covered. Obviously, the first one, or the 6, is freely covered by Fairy Fire. The agility isn't doing anything, so those could convert to heroics, assuming that they're not discarded. But let's see, the consequences. There's only 3 hearts, so at worst, I spend 10 time. So it's worth going for. Caliana can't die in this fight. It's nice to say I can't die in this fight, so now when I roll all 2s, it's fun. Now, time does get spent for each one, so actually I'm spending 5 time! And then that was a 2. I thought it was something else. Oh well. So we spent 5 time, but we're hopefully going to not spend any more time. Alright. This heroic is not going to do anything. Let's just throw it into finesse. Gives me a 6. So now we have a heroic 6. I'm actually going to convert these because I don't care about them. Heroic 6, heroic 4. So the shields, like, are the priority. So it's annoying spending those numbers, but the ones aren't going to do anything as far as that's concerned. The mana currently going into Force Bolt, not doing anything. So as far as things are going, we can cover that, cover that, cover that. So, is there a better way to handle this? Well, not really. Well, okay, we can get a strength 3. That does mean nothing. All these ones are not doing anything. The best I could do is convert this into a heroic 1. Because there's really no other purpose for that. And I could throw it into Force Bolt, which gives me a strength 3. But that does me nothing. I would have to steal a number from somewhere else in order to be able to get Force Bolt to do something good. But then I would only be able to cover 1 more square. But then I'd have removed 1 square, so it's not really filling in 1 more square. So really, this is the best I can do. Alternatively, I use Force Bolt and I aid to increase the number, but that only saves me 2 times, so. Unfortunately, we've been having some pretty bad encounters. That single encounter spent 9 times, so this floor is flying. So we're not really getting Caliana super beefed up super early. But we got the 3 experience, so 2 more experience, we get the level up, we can carry 2 more items and 1 more skill, I believe. Yeah. Oh, hello. Rune puzzle. Decipher it, we can easily do. Unless we discard everything. Destroy it. Well, we only have the 3 dice, so that's not going to work too well. So, yeah, the answer is decipher it. No 2s, some 1s. Drop everything by 1. 3, 5, 5. I don't think I even needed to reduce it by 1. Alright, we're at our item limit. Potion, reroll, 1s and 2s. Well, you know, when all my 2s are discarded, this is half as useful. So against the Lich proper. So these numbers are lying because they're actually reduced because I used awareness, so don't trust those numbers. These numbers don't... I feel like that's a little bit of a bug, but anyway. Anyway, the strength is a higher number, but agility has more hearts. And if I am going to fail one of these, it would be the strength one. So I'm not going to change my dice here. So I'll just take the 2 experience straight up and level up. And if you thought I was lying about don't believe these numbers, here's what they should be. All right. Oh no, this guy. This guy's actually really awful. Because bear in mind, all 2s are getting discarded. Furthermore, all 1s and 3s get discarded. Yay! So you can only keep your 4s, 5s, and 6s. I just flee. Yeah, this might be a literal flee and never fight thing. Because there's a lot of armor boxes as well, which is a big issue. Mana Fountain and Fairy Fire will basically guarantee I can cover those armors. 2 of my mana have to survive to cover these. Everything left is then strength and agility. And if I can't cover any of them, I die because I'm taking 3 hearts of damage. So I think I'm just not going to fight this guy, and we're going to have... That spot is just going to be a dead spot then, because I can't fill it, or I can't discard it either. Gee, if only I had the stealth potion. Oh well. Oh hey, it's not really a dead card because Plague Rat, X equals 4 per open door, including this one. Well, you know, this includes the door I can't do anything with. Alright, we're fighting you. We should be able to do this. Famous last words. Oh, there's a 2? There's 2 2s. But Mana Fountain... Fairy Fire. The 1 could sort of be used on that door, but I'm going to throw it into Finesse. Roll a number. It's a 6. It almost was a 2. It thought it was going to be a 2. Then it changed its mind. Okay, so the armors are covered. Gotta cover that armor as well. The strength is covered. And the agility is covered, so we're done. So agility die, or spend 2 strength to roll a strength and a heroic. The reroll skills, or not, this isn't technically a reroll, but skills that involve rolling, you have to be wary of because weakness curse will trigger. They can still be used on Lich, but they will still trigger, so I'll just take the item. That's why generally the fixed number skills are great. Alright, so we at least hit level 3 on this floor. My general goal is to try to gain a level on each floor so I get to the boss at level 4. So we're good in that regard. I think we're bolstering. We do have like almost equal agility now. But we don't really need to worry about time. So bolstering will do it. I mean, theoretically, I could probably still lose, can I? 3, 5, 7, 9 all go to Caliana. So technically, this is a death possible fight. 2s get discarded. Awareness. So I'd have to aid to cover the 5, but then I can't cover the 6. But if I cover the 6, I'm fine. So not too bad. Alright, so now let's get a strength day, I think, because Barrage has, you know, spend 2 agility, roll 3 agility, discard one of them. If there's a 2 that gets discarded. Just fly over. We'll take the strength. Stay on the floor. She spend 2 time, 1 heart on Kaliana, another time. Alright, last door, because we're not fighting Phantom. Unless for some reason I get stealth from this fight. Vortex Stone does not give me stealth. Stabilize Aura gives me the item, but my item limit. Grab Stone gives me the potion, but Invulnerability, prevent 2 hearts. Actually, Kaliana can't use this. Prevention skills are, or not skills, well, I mean, there are prevention skills. Prevention potions also help. Oh, but I can't use this on the boss, so never mind. That's a little less useful. I could take it and then use it on the other guy, but nah. 4 experience is solid. I'm at my item limit, and so I would only do something else, so... I guess it's Stabilize Aura if I'm going to do this. But considering how close it was last time, I might not want to do this. I mean, it's risky is the thing. Like, so I'll Stabilize Aura, spend 2 times, Kaliana takes a heart, blah, blah, blah. So there's going to be 2 hearts on the door. She's already negated 2 damage. So I would have to cover everything. Except I could get away without covering the 6. Awareness will lower the 12 into an 11. And I have to cover the armor. So cover the armor. 11 with remaining dice, assuming no 2s are rolled, could be done. If I roll all 2s, it's game over. Is it worth it? 6 dice? Chances are one of them is going to be a 2. Can't be all 2s. I mean, it could be all 2s. Unlikely, but possible. I'm taking the chance. I'm taking the gamble. If this is where I lose the match, then I retire as the lead of Dolphin's Dive. It's not good to put all of your fate into dice. No 2s. Awareness. And we can cover everything. So no worries here. End encounter. So, experience. I did that all just for experience. Alright, descend. So now Blade Storm is active. If an encounter's consequences include a heart, add a heart to them. So, extra damage to Kaliana. So that has to be factored in. Also, we have this 10 mana, and Peril encounters have an additional 4 armor that also does a heart of damage. So if now I do a Peril encounter and I fail, I'm basically dead. Alright, spend time for each closed door. So actually when it comes to the Goblin, I actually just flee if there's 3 other doors. Because if I enter right now, I spend 3 time. But if I flee now and I come back after opening the other 3 doors, I'm only spending an additional 2 time. Which is 1 less than 3 times. So I'm going to flee because it's... This saves time! And then we have the Bandit, who forces heroic dice to cost 3 dice. Let's fight you. Wait for the game to load. It's been acting slow again. There we go. Acting slow. 2s are discarded. Those were both agilities. Mana Fountain. Fairy Fire. Cover the armors. Yep, I accidentally did that. Alright. Strength we're almost good on. Mana we're good on. Agility is a little awkward. I could put the agility 4 into here. It's gonna be equal except I gain a strength die. I could also convert these strength dice that aren't doing anything. Oh no, but I have to spend frickin' 3 dice in this fight. Well, the 6s are definitely going on the strength squares. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to cover that 8. You can cover the mana. I mean... If I do this... Yeah, we're good. I don't need to do anything else. We have lots of dice. Item limit and cleave. I'll take cleave. It's a fixed number thing. Fixed number skills, bypass, weakness, curse. Well, not bypass, but help. And it's the Black Panther! No, it's just Panther. Item limit and skill. I love this skill, by the way. Other than the fact it takes up a spot. But I think we're probably going to replace awareness. I cannot use this against the boss anyway. And I mean, I'm going to use it in this encounter. So yeah, we're going to take the skill, Charmed Panther. We're going to ditch awareness. Notice how much of my strategy is centered around figuring out what I need for the boss. I think that's sort of like a secret to One Deck Dungeon, is planning ahead. Obviously, you have to figure out... well, that's not too good. Obviously, you need to figure out how to survive. Alright. I can cover the 3s with massive waste. And right here, you see I'm taking 1 heart of damage because Lich's Tomb is adding. Because it would have just been 3 damage, but Lich's Tomb is adding 1, and Caliana would then die. So this is not the approach to take. So as much as it stinks, we're going to have to aid twice so I can use the 6s elsewhere. So it's good I didn't use those potions earlier. So covering the 8 means I only spend 3 time. If I cover the 5, we get a poison and 4 times. So the 8 is strictly superior. Kitty! So we'll take Charmed Panther and replace Awareness. This gives me 4 experience. That's actually interesting. I forgot what card that was. It was the Moss Golem. So certainly a very useful skill. We use it in every parallel encounter, but as we start getting ready for the boss altogether, it's a waste of a skill slot. But then we get into a parallel encounter where it could have helped. Bramble Field. Unfortunately, we don't have many strengths. So I have to be careful because if I don't roll 2 4s, the encounter ends, or the dungeon ends, regardless of whether I do clear a path or run through. None of my skills will help with peril encounters. If I do run through, that's probably the safest option, even though it's a 10, just because I have more dice. So I'll have the 4 agility plus 1 heroic, which gives me 5 dice, which makes it a little more likely to roll 2 4s. But if I don't roll 2 4s, we're done. So I have 1 aid left, and if I roll all 2s, it's over. But I mean, it doesn't change the fact that I have to roll 2 4s. All 2s, no 2s, 2 4s. Yeah. I'm gonna chance it. I feel like I've chanced several encounters to this point. But even if I can't cover the 10, I get 3 poison and 1 heart, and I don't really care about the poison. I did earlier, but right now I don't care. Alright, 1 2, but that's discarded. Womp womp. But we can cover a 4, we can cover the other 4, and I can cover the 10, which then spends 3 time, or I can cover the 6, which spends 2 time and 3 hearts, or 3 poisons. So 3 poisons versus 1 time wins. Because the poisons will just lead to time later anyway. So, item, don't want. Balanced attack, it's a roll skill, which is dangerous. But, I mean, spend 2 strength to roll a strength, agility, mana, increase one of them by 1. Could be a replacement for finesse. But I am shorter on strength than on agility, and finesse at least balances that a little bit. Whereas balanced attack, ironically, unbalances my strength and agility. So I think I'll just take the experience, because then I'll level up and I'll have 2 heroic dice. Space for more skills. So now is the time to fight Goblin. So we are waiting for the dice to come out here. The game always like slows down at a certain point, and I don't really know what causes it. Bad mana rolls, but we can cleave. I mean, we always could cleave, but we can cleave, so it's not too big of a deal. Alright, and Charmed Panther, but the agility is definitely solid. So Charmed Panther we would use to get a strength die. So, that 3 could go in there. I can cleave to increase that to a 2. And it would actually be saved, despite Lich's Tomb. That 6 can go there, and Cleave could increase that to a 4. So you've used Cleave for 2 reasons to this point. Or for 2 dice, rather. If I use it on the heroic die, I can cover the 6. So 3 dice. And then the remaining square is the mana 10, which I'm at 7. I can increase one of those to an 8. But we might be able to do it with finesse, because finesse will at least give me an agility 4. The strength is a 3, which is good enough to give me a heroic 3. So I don't even need to increase it. That can go in that square. So I have to increase these 3 dice with Cleave. And I'm forced to increase the fourth one, or could I? Does it say up to? Up to. Okay, yeah. So doesn't really matter if I don't just do one or the other. I will have them all covered. Where's the? Oh, the game was lagging. I was wondering why it wasn't letting me place it, but it was because it was lagging. Done. Blitz. Spend 1 strength die, roll a strength die, increase a die by 1. It's basically insert your worst strength in here to re-roll it, and then you can also increase a die by 1. Not really the best skill. I mean, we're almost at Lich. So bear in mind, I have to cover these 3s. And the first time I cover one of them, it gets discarded, so dice are important. Maybe turning it off and then back on might be good. I did that once before, and it worked temporarily, and then it slowed down again. But yeah, I think we will do that after I take this item. Because I think I want the item. I mean, it's another mana die, but it's at least more dice. Blitz does not actually give me an extra die, so we'll take the item. Alright, so once it's done doing this, start of turn, then we're going to exit out of the game. Actually, oh, it's under gauntlet mode. What happens if I resume game right now? Does it actually speed up? Do I need to actually exit the game and then come back in? It seems speedy. Yeah. Alright. I'll accept that. Sharp Cliffs. Now that I ditched the skill that lowered the numbers by 1, now I'm getting like terrible peril encounters. So really the question is, I'm at level 4, so I have the 2 heroic dice. So the only reasons to do these kinds of fights are getting an extra die through the item, getting an extra skill, bearing in mind I can only have 5 skills and I have 4 right now, or the experience. Clever Smash, though, is, well, at least guaranteed that I can cover a 3. Well, I shouldn't say guarantee it covers a 3, but it guarantees a 3 in some fashion that can cover one of these squares. So that's a thought. The item gives me another mana die. But we're good on mana. The experience I don't need. So it's really just Clever Smash is the thought. And then Flyover is definitely the answer because I have twice as many mana dice as strength dice. Bearing in mind I do have 2 heroic, so it's really 8 dice versus 5. But at least it mitigates the 2s. I definitely have to roll 2 4s. Actually, I have to roll 2 4s, and I have to make sure I cover the 14, because Caliana cannot take any hearts of damage. Like, there's currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hearts here. And Lich's adds 1. So that's 6 hearts. So that's actually scary. I am rolling 8 dice. But I've risked it 3 times. Worked out each time. We'll do it again. No 2s. Nope, 1, 2. But 4, 4, and I am 2 short. Or no, I'm not 2 short. I'm 3 short. That does 3 time. Well, it's really... Oh, yeah, because it's an extra 1 because of Lich. So 2 hearts, 1 time. So it's 3 time, puts 4 hearts here. 3 are removed. There's 1 heart. Caliana takes a 3rd heart of damage. Time is spent. 2 hearts. So I'll survive. Looks scary, but I survived. And I get Clever Smash. Alright. So, I have to be really careful now because... End of floor. Caliana's good at this, but... This is a bad encounter to find because 3 time is spent, which puts 3 heart tokens on the door, 5 tokens here. Remove 3 of them. 1 is put on Caliana, 2 heart. Spend a time, 3 hearts, 3 are removed. 1 is put on Caliana, and then a time here. So she's gonna. If I just go and fight this right now, there's gonna be 3 canceled hearts here and 1 heart on the door. So I'd actually have to beat this encounter. I think I'm gonna flee for now. I think there's like no harm in fleeing really at this point. Other than the fact that like, oh my gosh, time is being transferred. But like, look, I'm back at 1 canceled heart and 2 times. So it's like the same situation as I was before. Look, it's another peril. And this is not a mana one. So either I get the mana die, or I spend 3 agility to gain a heroic 6. But agility is very precious. I do have a spare item slot or 2. So then the question is, do I want to go for it? Picking the lock, easier than bashing open. If I pick the lock, 1 time is spent. So there's going to be 2 canceled hearts and 1 heart here. So I think I'd have to absolutely cover the pick lock because there would not be enough time spent to be able to stop Caliana from dying. So I'd have to get the 4 forward 8 across 6 dice. If I bash open, I don't spend the initial time. And if I... Well, I would have to cover 4/4 and 6 at least, or the 11. I think that's a lot of effort to gain a mana, so let's just flee that again. That's free. Enter this door. Dire Boar. Dice may not be re-rolled or increased. Exploit weakness, spend an agility, gain a heroic 4, or a strength die, which I'm, you know, weakest on. So. Lots of hearts. But, I mean, this is a combat encounter, and so, like... I mean, Mana Fountain, Fairy Fire, etc., etc., etc. Let's enter. Like, my skills are very well suited for combats. Not so much for perils, and perils are where I'm struggling. Except for the time that I could reduce things. So the 2 is discarded. Mana Fountain, Fairy Fire. Let's go ahead, put a finesse out. Oh look, it's a 2, it's discarded. Roll a strength. Do I want to discard that to gain a heroic 3? The strength are actually covered with the other dice. So I'm going to take the heroic 3 because I can use that. Whoops, actually, that was not the button to press. Discard, yes, to gain the heroic 3. So strength is covered and agility is covered. So all I have to do is cover the mana. So shield, shield, shield. Shield, and then the non-manas, and then the mana. Alright, we did it. So. At my skill limit, right. So, Clever Smash is auto, Charmed Panther is auto, Finesse gives me an extra strength die. and a guaranteed 4. And Cleave, spend a strength to increase dice by 4. Or I could go for spend an agility to gain a heroic 4. Which can at least make sure I can have dice to try to cover the 3s with. But Cleave could also give me lots of those. So I think I'll take the strength die so I can try to have a spare for Cleave. Right, so we still have one. No, we're filled on items. Yeah, we're filled on items. Filled on skills. So there's the only reason to do these things would be if I want to replace one of my items with something else. But I think I'm more willing to just go to the encounter or go to the boss right now because both of these encounters are going to be challenging. So I'm just going to descend and go with what I have and hopefully it's good enough. All right, we made it to Lich. Success. Good news, no more 2s get discarded. Bad news, 3s placed on that square get discarded. All right, so Mana Fountain and Fairy Fire, of course, is what happens. Prove the superiority of Pokemon type signs. Clever Smash. Yeah, let's definitely discard that. Because Heroic 2 is strictly better than Strength. Heroic 3 is strictly better than Strength 2. Let's put the Agility in there. Roll the Strength. Gain the Agility 4. Okay. The rest of this comes down to how do I want to use the remaining dice. Well, I think the big numbers certainly have to go in the big boxes. Like that covers that. And now there's a little bit of uncertainty here. Like I sort of want to try to keep one of these for those. But I could do the heroic, so that covers that. My mana is pretty awful. So that covers that, but I could also put a heroic in there, but then those 2s... Okay, these 2s can be cleaved. Alright, so that could be done. And so we also have something to put in there, and Charmed Panther will actually give me something to put in there. So all the rights are covered, and all the lefts will be covered as long as I cleave and increase those manas by 1. So now we'll put boxes or dice in those squares, and they get discarded. And then I can actually cover them. Yay! Perfect round. So now all I have to do is cover 2 of the 3s. Caliana can survive 3 hearts of damage, which means either I don't have to cover the 17 or I don't have to cover one of the 3s and cover all the squares on the right. So let's see. Dice. Mana Fountain. Clever Smash. That is actually a really good number. I'm going to keep it. Let's put the heroic into finesse, because that's definitely better. Finesse is good. Charmed Panther will give me something. So cleave can be used with that strength 1. And it can certainly increase these into 3s. So the strength is covered with cleave, the mana is covered with cleave, the agility is covered with cleave. So the rest of this goes into covering the big numbers, and we have some big numbers. So this encounter is done. We were more than set up for the boss. And we're done. Flawless victory. And we get 11 hexagons. So, last week I remember we were having a lot of discussion about the fact that, you know, we're in the gauntlet, so we're not really going to spend the hexagons the way that you might normally think about them, which is like put them in only hexagon spaces, because we're not actually going to last that long after this next fight. Assuming we win the next fight, then I don't need to last too long. So really it might be best to just throw them all into crafty, right? Because, oh no, I can't even get it because that's not even enough. So since I'm not getting that, maybe it's worth considering getting something else, because I could actually throw this all into aggression to get fearlessness, and then I get a heroic roll for free. That's something. Like, I can get any skill that's not the bottom tier skill. Or talent is the word. And then I can use that talent. I can use the focus and then get that talent. Yeah, let's actually just put it all in fearlessness. And maybe I'll consider using aggression next time to get that heroic die. And then I have an extra check mark remaining. So assuming that I fail whatever the other guy is, I forgot. Then I could perhaps cover something else. So let's cover... Because it will... So I should probably focus on aggression, I guess. Assuming I'm going to actually use aggression. Gain a strength 2 or agility 2 or mana 2 for blind luck. Or... I mean, it can be used in perils, but... Endless assault, reroll 2 dice. I don't like rerolls. Reduce the difficulty of each large box by 1. That has use. Let's put this in blind luck, I guess, and maybe we'll blindly get lucky. Alright, so Lich has been defeated. So the story so far. Rogue was defeated in the Dragon's Cave. Rogue was defeated in the Dragon's Cave. Warrior was victorious over the Dragon. Hunter was victorious over the Hydra. Paladin was defeated in the Yeti's Cavern. Paladin was victorious over the Yeti. And Caliana was victorious over the Lich. So, when we continue this up, we will go into Minotaur's Maze, and we'll see how that works. Explore limit 3 doors. When you explore, spend an extra time, and Minotaur. But we're not going to continue that this week, and we're not going to continue it next week, because if you just tuned in and you forgot, next Friday I will play Akash 3 on stream. I will be demoing Akash 3 in a coordinated effort across all the stream team members to try to demo some Oblivion content outside of just Handelabra Live. So coming up Monday, La Commodora will be demoed by Pirate Savvy on Deck. On Tuesday, John and Jeremy will play in either Meridian Refuge or Fort Adamant. Next Friday, I will play Akash 3. Next Saturday, another Letdown plays in Mordengrad. The Monday following that, Pirate Savvy lets Dover play the Harpy. And then the second Tuesday from now, John will preview the remaining Oblivion environment. So, speaking of Sentinels, how about we play some Sentinels? Let's play some Sentinels! Duh, 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 duh. Aw, fickle fans, come on. Actually, I should open up the game, huh? I was going to change the title. I didn't go to the right place to change the title anyway. Let's open up the game someday when this loads. There we go. Still thinking. I do not actually want to change that. Viewer's Choice Sentinels. Oh, I actually didn't change the game. I accidentally played Sentinels this entire time. Ha 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 ha. Okay, well. What the heck is going on? Is Twitch bugging out, or is your net just bad because there's been an audio loop glitch that happened twice now on different channels? I apologize if there was an audio loop. I mean, it's probably Twitch's fault though. But if you hear me fine, please say something, I guess. In the meantime, who wants to participate in viewer's choice? Holy crap, it's 8:40? I spent that long? I didn't even feel like it was that long. Oh man. Alright, let's... Not that it will be a fast match, but we'll certainly play through this and hopefully not spend 20 hours. The same glitch happened on another letdown stream. Aw, Belle Sorcier. Feel better. Missing numbers up for viewer's choice. Either that or missing numbers up for voice chat. So, alright, I'm just gonna start divvying up the questions. Actually, if it's only Hank Wright a missing number, let's, instead of it just being the two of you choosing, I'm gonna make some choices here. We're gonna do team, and it's gonna be 3v3. And you can each choose a villain and hero. And then we'll figure out other things later. So those are villains, these are heroes. And you can also choose the difficulty on your villains, I think would be fair. Misinformation and Freedom 5 Legacy. So misinformation, we can only do standard or advanced. The advanced rule, reduce damage dealt by hero targets by 1. And he says advanced, so we're doing advanced. Reduce damage dealt by hero targets by 1. Missing number says Greazer and Scholar of the Infinite. Every time I pick Greazer, I always feel like I have to say it like, hello, it's Greazer. Hello, happy cats. It's Greazer here with Scholar of the Infinite. So if you want to consider Greazer's advanced rule, whenever Greazer deals damage to a hero character card, that hero's player must either discard 1 card, destroy 1 of their ongoing or equipment cards, or deal themselves 1 psychic damage. But the advanced rule misinformation kind of negates that entire advanced rule. But alright, we're playing standard there. Alright, I'm gonna make a choice here, because I'm putting myself in the ring. So, of these remaining villains, it's not Airman. It's not Ambuscade. Capitan is fun, right? Citizen Hammer and Anvil, I've had too many, whatchamacallits, Bastions. I've had too many Bastions. Baron Blade, he's just annoying. Biomancer is Scholar's nemesis and could be fun, but then there could be a lot of build up there. Bugbear, misinformation is probably target number 1, which means Bugbear is going to charge up. I think I want Fright Train. Choo choo! Chugga chugga choo choo! I'm gonna leave him standard. Actually, there's so many rules here. Advanced, increase damage dealt by Fright Train by 1. Challenge, as long as Fright Train is a target, redirect all hero damage to Fright Train, which sort of takes away the whole misinformation is the priority thing. But actually, if we take down Fright Train first, and then we take out misinformation, then Greazer, you know, we don't care about. But I think we'll just leave Fright Train as standard. So now the question is, what hero do I want? Let's see. I think I want to do a Void Guard because Void Guard's still recent, and I don't think I've played them too much. Void Guard Dr. Medico with experimental medicine doesn't get a damage reduction, but he doesn't do too much damage himself, other than to himself. And actually, he would kind of prefer for his damage to be reduced, but Idealist has some damage dealing capability. Some damage to hit. She has a lot of damage dealing capability. Actually, Idealist is my favorite. I'm gonna take Idealist. I love Idealist. Do I want Super Sentai? Farm the head. I'll take base. All right. So, Advanced Misinformation, Greazer and Fright Train versus Freedom 5 Legacy, Scholar of the Infinite, and Void Guard the Idealist. And so we have to choose the environment. And you know who should pick the environment? RNGesus. Ruins of Atlantis. So, Advanced Misinformation, Greazer and Fright Train versus Freedom 5 Legacy, Scholar of the Infinite, and Void Guard the Idealist in the Ruins of Atlantis. Watch as I twist your beloved city into a new paradise, a world without heroes. Even if it isn't the Freedom 5, there will always be heroes. It actually is Nemesis dialogue because we have Misinformation, who is Legacy's nemesis. Also Bunker's nemesis, which, by the way, Fright Train is also Bunker's nemesis. So Misinformation and Fright Train will be dealing each other increased damage. Alright, Legacy has Fortitude, Inspiring Presence, Superhuman Durability, and Surge of Strength. Inspiring Presence really good to help combat misinfo. Scholar of the Infinite has Get Out of the Way, Mortal Form to Energy, Solid to Liquid, and Truth Seeker. And Void Guard the Idealist has Flying Stabby Knives, 2 Karate Robots, and a Monster of Id, which, by the way, when this card enters your hand, put it into play. You know what that means? It's immediately going into play. Alright, Unshackled Destiny, Internal Collapse, Living Paycheck goes into Legacy's play area. So Legacy is, in fact, Greazer's nemesis, which I think also means that all three of these guys are nemesis to each other. Or no, wait, Greazer will be Misinformation's nemesis because of the shared Legacy nemesis thing, right? Yeah? Look, there's that icon. Greazer's nemesis is any hero character card in the same play area as the contract card. Actually, he gained that icon. I don't know if that truly means anything. Anyway. So, Unshackled Destiny. If damage would reduce a target to 0 or fewer HP, prevent that damage, and then destroy this card. So, that's there. Internal Collapse. At the end of Misinformation's turn, each player destroys one of their equipment cards. If no equipment cards are destroyed this way, destroy this card. Then each player may move one card from their trash into their hand. Well, there are no equipment cards in play, and Misinformation's turn is now, so this card's just going to get destroyed. All the other cards that come out are fixed. So the hair is, of course, out and about. And Engine of Destruction. Increase damage dealt by Fright Train by 1. Increase the first damage dealt to Fright Train each turn by 1 is there. This team has 2 equipment cards among all of them. Actually, that's not wrong, right? Like, we have the Legacy Ring, which is over here. And Idealist at least has the Tiara. And it is only the Tiara. Neither of them are in their hands, so that card isn't going to do too much. Or this card isn't going to do too much ever. Alright, Deja Vu. Each hero target deals itself 1 psychic damage. Guess what? It's being reduced by 1! Move 1 ongoing card from Misinformation's trash into play. Move 1 ongoing card from 1 hero trash into play. So guess what? That does nothing. Guess what? That does nothing. Guess what? That does nothing. So nothing... Or no, Monster of It. Okay, fair enough. Something did happen, but nothing else happened. Alright, cards are getting moved, so just in case it matters. Takedown is on the bottom. Bring what you need is on the bottom. Giant floaty head is on the bottom. All right. Cool. There wasn't a whole lot of anything that happened in that turn, but misinformation is reducing damage by 1. So Inspiring Presence gets rid of that. We don't get the HP recovery effect, but we get the HP, or the extra damage boost. Bear in mind that Monster of Id is going to involve self-damage to the Idealist, and it also involves a damage increase by the Idealist. Also, if no card moves this way, the Idealist deals herself X psychic damage, or X equals the number of cards under this card plus 1. Increased by 1. Reduced by 1 by misinformation. Increased by 1 by legacy. She has no fragments in hand, so her base power isn't going to immediately help, but if she draws a fragment, we could do that. So an early Monster of Id is certainly a bit risky and annoying, since Monster of Id keeps stealing concepts. But while a lot of people are terrified of the Monster of Id, I actually like it because extra damage. I love extra damage. You may either move an environment card in play to the bottom of the environment deck, or one player may play a card. Are Oblivion heroes playable? Not this week, but next week I will be demoing Akashtriya. So, So, yes. So, there will be Oblivion demos of things the coming week. Monday, we will have La Commodora on deck. On Tuesday, Handelabra Live will show either Marinian Refuge or Fort Adamant. Next Friday, I will demo Akashtriya. Next Saturday, another letdown will demo Mordengrad. The Monday following that, Dover on deck will play Harpy, and then the Tuesday after that, John will show the final Oblivion environment. So not this week. Actually, earlier this week there was some demos. Not today. Next week I will demo, and eventually the Oblivion content will be digitally available. Yay! All right, someone's gonna play a card, but who? I don't know that getting concepts out are gonna do anything right away. And I don't know if Scholar... Like, I'm intending Scholar to play Truthseeker on his turn, or at least using Truthseeker on his turn, so he could get another card play, but I don't know that that's going to help. So I think we're going to have Legacy play the card. We're going to have Jerk Legacy, Jerk Freedom 5 Legacy, and I'll put a Fortitude out for damage reduction. Harpy's your favorite? I've had some fun with Harpy. I haven't really played all of the Oblivion heroes too much, but I have played them a little. I have played Akashtriya, of course. I'm not going to play her blind next week. Certainly helps to be able to get the environment to play extra cards, or to give Harpy extra card plays or powers to shuffle the environment a little more. But in my experience, she tends to get a hand of cards really quickly, which is fun. Because more options, more possibilities, more analysis paralysis. Alright, so... Scholar is no one's nemesis. Also, Thermobaric Mine came out, and that went to Legacy, but Legacy has Fortitude, so Thermobaric Mine is not doing anything. Surprise. Impeccable Pompadour, if I hit this... Greazer will damage Scholar, which isn't really too useful. So I think I'm just going to go directly to Misinformation and get her out. We draw Proverbs and Axioms, and a Know When to Hold Fast. So a fun turn. Or no, Proverbs and Axioms is the power one, which isn't as fun and exciting. Alright, there. This card deals to 2 hero targets with the highest HP, 1 energy damage each. Increased damage dealt by this card by 1 for each active member of the Sentinels, which there are none. Alright, so here we're hoping to draw a fragment so that Idealist doesn't hit herself. It's not terrible, though, if she hits herself, but... Karate Robot is a super damage dealing thing. Even with no cards underneath this card, this is going to do 2 and 2 damage. But I think we want to draw cards to try to start mitigating Monster of Id. And I drew a fragment so I can put that underneath Karate Robot so that she doesn't damage herself. Vivid Thoughts. Could potentially reveal fragments. Isn't Idealist a Sentinel? Technically, yes. And so Crocjaw Crew is in fact Idealist's nemesis. But it has been ruled by Christopher that any card that explicitly mentions the Sentinels will always refer to the hero Sentinels, as in the foursome with Writhe and Medico and Mainstay and Idealist all in one, as opposed to the individual decks. And any card that explicitly mentions Writhe, for instance, in the Sentinels deck will always refer to Sentinels Idealist. Any Void Guard Writhe card that says Writhe always refers to Void Guard Writhe. So that's the ruling as far as the Sentinels as a team versus Sentinels as solo heroes go. The Kraken comes out, and so this is fun because we're gonna have the Kraken. Oh right, Unshackled Destiny. If damage would reduce a target to 0 or fewer HP, prevent that damage, and then destroy the card. So I guess we're not going to take out the hair. And by take out, I of course mean reduce it to 0, so Greazer hits himself. Alright, Legacy hits himself. Discards his hand, shuffles his trash into his deck, draws 4 cards. So new hand, but I wasn't really particularly excited by my old hand. And I get another Inspiring Presence. Unfortunately, it's limited. Legacy moves a Heroic Interception. Scholar moves a Transmutive Recovery and Hedgy Hogs. They put the Sentinel symbol on the characters. That was the other reason. So the Sentinel symbol is certainly indicative of the fact that this is their nemesis icon, and so they have an extra damage to and from cards with this symbol, which include Solo Misinformation, or Solo Capitan, I think also Team Capitan, as far as I know, and of course the Crackjaw Crew. And furthermore, it includes each member of the Sentinels, so Idealist will always deal nemesis damage to Mainstay, for instance. That's just the rules of Sentinels. Alright, well, we do want Idealist to try to get more fragments in some capacity, so let's bolster allies to try to draw something. Fortitude, Solid to Liquid, and Flying Stabby Knives is unfortunately not that, so let's play an Idealist card. Vivid Thoughts. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, put any revealed concepts and fragments into play, put the other revealed cards into your hand. So this will hopefully reveal something that we can use. We got 1 fragment, which is fine because that could be put underneath a card. Put that underneath Karate Robot so that Monster of Id can eat it. Team Capitan is Chrono Ranger. Oh yeah, that actually makes sense. I remember that part of letters page things. Alright, so what happened was what? Something happened. Something was put into play and went somewhere. Oh, right. So the HYP Displacer on Legacy. At the start of that hero's turn, this card deals each target in this play area 1 sonic damage and 1 energy damage, which Fortitude reduces to 0. So this was a very fortuitous Fortitude. Alright, Proverbs and Axioms. Each hero character card may either regain 2 HP or deal themselves 3 psychic damage and use a power, but with all the pluses, it's not as good. I mean, this does do a card draw, though. But we did get the thing. Oh, and we have Focusing Tiara now. Okay, that's really good. Okay, we're not as worried about Idealist. With Focusing Tiara, whenever you use a power, afterwards you may put a card from your trash under a concept in play. This will guarantee that Karate Robot will always have something underneath it. I think I want to get Mortal Form out. And then you have it. So then when he regains HP, such as through proverbs and axioms, he can do something about it. Chugga chugga choo choo! Scholar is okay with it. He wants to be able to regain HP. Legacy reduces that. Nemesis. And then... damage. So, of course, we're playing the Focusing Tiara. And now, because of Focusing Tiara, I can actually use Karate Robot. And this will do 6 damage to Misinformation. And move a card from my trash, so... Bright Idea. Underneath Karate Robot. So the other card you would like to have is Strained Super Ego, because then we can start moving cards from underneath Monster of Id somewhere else. But if we start getting hurt because of too many cards underneath Monster of Id, we can actually use Board now to return all cards underneath Monster of Id into my hand, shuffle Monster of Id into my deck, and then deal damage based on the cards returned to my hand. So that's a possibility. When this card enters play, deal each target 3 melee damage. I don't think order will matter. My hair! My hair got collapsed! Oh, and look at this! My hair's gonna be hit. The Kraken went after my hair. Alright, Deja Vu. It's Deja Vu all over again. Move an ongoing card from Misinformation's trash into play. Unfortunately, now Internal Collapse will do something because the Focusing Tiara is in play. So we're going to put Unshackled Destiny in. And there were no ongoing cards in the trash, so nothing else happened. Take down, keep moving, Hedgy Hogs. I don't think we have a means of playing the bottom of decks, though. But if we did... Alright, Unshackled Destiny is going to go off immediately, so... like, it's not going to hit Legacy at all, but we could certainly take out the HYP Displacer directly. Or wait, what happened? It still destroyed itself. I'm confused. I'm confused. Let me pay attention to what just happened, because I'm confused. Oh, right, it does 1 and 1. So the first got prevented, and then it takes it out. Okay, now, okay. So we're going to take out both anyway. All right, it's gone. Right. So do I want a card play or do I want a Motivational Charge? Because Motivational Charge will actually trigger a Scholar now. And after I said that, I just realized Scholar's triggered, which is actually not... I don't like that expression too much, but... Motivational Charge is going to do 2 damage. Scholar will do 1 damage, so that's a total of 3 damage. I could Thok and deal 3 damage. And then have someone play a card... I mean, Spark of Inspiration deals spread damage, which is generally great. Plus, she has the +1, so she's happy to do lots of damage. Scholar would also like to be able to deal lots of damage to things. And get out of the way, he's going to regain a bunch of HP. He's going to deal 7 targets damage. Because none of these have damage reduction. He's going to regain 7. He's going to deal 7. That would be enough to take out Misinformation. It is going to be a little overkill, though, if I do Thok, but... Oh, right, Nemesis here. So now it's Even more overkill. But that's okay. This will give us a +1 against the other beings. Or, I don't have to do the big blow on misinformation. I could do this on Scholar's turn, but then the hair would react, which it's not terrible, but yeah. So 7 HP. So that's 7 damage to anything. Not really concerned about the other cards. So if Scholar doesn't take out misinformation here, I mean, we could use Proverbs and Axioms to take out misinformation in some capacity. But I mean, I'm only going over by 2, so I don't think it's too big of a deal. Because if I don't take out misinformation now, then I'm losing damage later anyway. So we'll just take her out. All right. So Greazer is not a priority because Greazer leaves the game if Legacy gets incapped. So the next priority is Fright Train. All the best toys gives us Hunter Tech. Unfortunately, these are not going on Legacy. Oh yeah, this definitely goes on Lex. Why did the other one go on Idealist? Oh, because it's most cards in play, I think, is why. Right? Most cards in play, yeah. So that's that. Okay. Discard a card. Solid to liquid, I don't like as much as the other elements. Alright, Proverbs and Axioms. Draw cards. Danger Sense. And Grace Under Fire. Ooh, that's a beautiful card. And Conceptualize. So I think we're gonna immediately play... So, deal self-damage. Legacy uses Overwatch. Here I'm gonna play a card. Scholar plays Grace Under Fire. Because this is doing 9 damage. +1, +1. It's not going to get much better than that, I don't think. Scholar's going to regain the HP because of Mortal Form. And then Idealist... Karate Robot will deal 1, +1 by Legacy, +1 by Monster of It. So she's going to do 6 damage with this. The problem is that she's going to hit herself for 5. But 6 damage will put Fright Train down to 9. I'm okay with this. Super damage! And then move this card underneath Karate Robot. And then, let's see. So I've discarded 1 card, so this is going to do 2 damage, so Truth Seeker is better. Alright, keep moving. Fright Train. That hero's player may discard 1 card. If they do not, Fright Train deals that hero character card 2 more melee damage. Scholar's like, come at me, bro! I like the damage. I like the damage. I like the damage. I like the damage. Alright, so now put a card from hand under a concept in play. Well, that will power up Karate Robot, but we're already powered up. Fright Train is dead currently with Karate Robot, so I don't need to do that. Search your deck for a concept and put it into play. Blah, blah, blah. Put this card under concept in play. Yeah, it's... I'm currently overkilling Fright Train, but I don't think I can really stop that from happening. Unless I used board now, maybe? 2 cards. So Monster of Id, 2 cards. Well, wait. Put a card from hand under constant play. So if I put a card underneath Monster of Id, she'll deal 3 +1, 4, +1 by Legacy is 5, +1 by Fright Train, 6. So we can remove Monster of Id. Let's put a card from hand. So let's put Flying Stabby Knives. We have 2 of those. We'll put 1 of those underneath Monster of Id. You don't normally put cards underneath Monster of Id directly, but I'm doing it here. Shuffle Monster of Id into my deck, draw 3 cards, hit Fright Train. Alright, so all we have to do is either take down Legacy or take down Greazer. But Legacy has a damage reduction, so it's actually easier to take out Greazer. And then let's move a card back underneath Karate Robot. Even though we don't need to worry about Karate Robot getting stolen. Phosphorescent Chamber. This is a fun card with Scholar. Increase all damage dealt by 1. Increase all HP recovery by 1. At the end of the environment turn, each player must discard a card. At the start of the environment turn, each player may discard a card to destroy this card. This is kind of an element. At the end of the environment turn, each player must discard a card. That's an element! Increase all HP recovery by 1. It's like Mortal Form. Not Mortal Form. It's like Solid to Liquid, except increase all damage dealt by 1. It's like better than Solid to Liquid. So, who's considered to have the lowest? The Hare! Of course, we have to discard, but that's okay. I don't need 2 Danger Senses. Scholar's not going to expect 2 worsts. And I don't need 2 Flying Stabby Knives. Alright, each player is discarding a card and drawing a card. So, I don't need Inspiring Presence. And Scholar does not need Solid to Liquid. And Idealist does not need 2 Bright Ideas. I mean, I guess she does have 2 concepts in the trash, but that's fine. Oh, I also have a Fortitude. I could have gotten rid of Fortitude. HYP Displacer is taking itself out, so we're not going to hit Legacy there. That would be foolish. So, what's the best way of taking out Greazer? So bear in mind that Legacy is Greazer's nemesis. We can play Back Fist Strike to deal a load of damage to Greazer, and then we can have someone play a card. But Scholar does not. I guess we could do No One to Hold Fast and get better options there. Idealist. Yeah, I think we want to try to get Scholar to have a super HP recovery move. So yeah, we'll Back Fist Strike, Greazer. Reduces HP by 1/2. Only 1/2. And then we will move. Well, no, we'll have a player play a card. Scholar plays a No One to Hold Fast out of turn. And we get a No One to Turn Loose. That will actually end the game. Grace Under Fire. That I think won't end the game. Keep moving. Grace Under Fire. Mortal Form. Okay, well, that wasn't as exciting as I had hoped. Oh, but he deals himself damage. Oh man, I have to destroy one of these cards. Alright, Legacy no longer has a damage reduction. Take out Legacy! Come on, Greazer, you can do it! Take out Legacy! No! Alright. I'm not expecting the worst. So, any one of these cards, well, not any one of these cards, many of these cards will do it. What's the best way to do it? I guess No One to Turn Loose is the most epic finish. If only I had stabbed Legacy in the back, we would have done it. I could have actually just killed Legacy there and done it, but I don't know. I like having heroes survive. Heroic victories are better. All right. So that wasn't a difficult match. Despite having advanced misinformation, the early inspiring presence negated that. And I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have picked Fright Train. Maybe I should have actually gone with a terrible villain, but it was I enjoy matches regardless. Easy, hard, doesn't matter. I get to have some fun combos, like having Scholar play no one to hold fast out of turn, or having Idealist draw cards so that we can feed Monster of Id even though we got it super early. In fact, even though we had the turn 0 Monster of Id, she never dealt herself damage with it. So she didn't have a fragment in hand at the start of the game, but we still managed to avoid Idealist hitting herself with Monster of Id. That said, we did choose to hit herself with Proverbs and Axioms so that she could use a power out of turn, but that's not the same thing. Alright, so that will wrap up Dolphin's Dive today. It is 9:16. I think it's been long enough. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. As always, if for some reason you don't enjoy these streams, please leave a message on YouTube or send me a Twitter or at me on Discord or whatever, and then I will, you know, try to figure out what you don't enjoy. Maybe my strategies aren't as good as I think as I think they are. Yeah, that pronoun. Maybe my strategies aren't as good as I think they are. Maybe I'm just playing the same kind of game over and over again and it's not exciting to watch. Maybe I win too often and they're not epic enough. Maybe you're not learning enough out of the game. I don't know. But for whatever, you know, good, bad, give me feedback. I like feedback. I mentioned this several times throughout the stream. I will repeat it yet again. We will be demoing Oblivion content in the coming couple weeks. On Monday, January 21st at 7 p.m., Pirate Savvy calls La Commodora up on deck. On Tuesday, January 22nd at 7 p.m., John and Jeremy preview an environment on Handelabra Live. Twitch chat chooses either Marinian Refuge or Fort Adamant. On Friday, January 25th, 7 p.m., Lou Dolphin takes a Dolphin's dive into how to play Akash 3. That's me! On Saturday, January 26th at 7 p.m., another Litdown takes trip to glorious country of Mordengrad. I feel like I need to read that in some sort of like Russian accent. Another Litdown takes trip to glorious country of Mordengrad. On Monday, January 28th at 7 p.m., Pirate Savvy lets her first date Dover try out the Harpy on deck. And Tuesday, January 29th at 7 p.m., John previews the final Oblivion environment on Handelabra Live. So, that's the coming schedule for the next 2 weeks. Check out the other streams on this channel. We mentioned all of them in that blurb. But, and let me double check this real quick, just so I'm saying something accurate. Another Litdown stream this weekend is on, it looks like. It is on Sunday, January 20th. So check out Tales from the Archive on Sunday at 7 p.m. Storytelling Sentinels. Check out On Deck Monday, 7 p.m. with Pirate Savvy and Dover. Check out Handelabra Live on Tuesday with Jeremy and John. And check out Dolphin's Dive on Fridays now, again, at 7 p.m. So you can look forward to those and fun stuff. If you enjoyed watching the games I played today and you don't own them currently, get them on Steam or iOS or Android. They're fun games. One Deck Dungeon, it took me forever to decide to start playing it, even though I knew I wanted to play it, and now that I'm playing it, I'm so glad I'm playing it. I wish I had played it earlier. And Sentinels of the Multiverse, I've played for years. I still love the game. It is amazing, the depth of strategy available in Sentinels. And I'm tapping into that in One Deck Dungeon as well. I can't wait for there to be further expansion content on that game, because it'll be amazing to see all the different decks and stuff in a One Deck Dungeon. Really impatient to be next week. I wonder why. Alright, thanks for watching, everyone. I don't really know what music to put up because this was a team game. Let's put up Fright Train because it's trainy. Alright, thanks for watching. I will see you guys next week for some Akash 3. Good night.